Serious Survivor here, and today I want to talk about a robot apocalypse, and not quite as severe as it may sound, but I want to talk about some realistic aspects of, AI, robotics, and what could possibly happen. But first, I want to mention a little bit about the channel. I'm on a contract position where I work, so I'm at the end of my contract this month. It runs out the end of May. So they've been utilizing me for pretty much 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, and with a 2-hour drive time, sometimes 3 to 4 hours depending on traffic. It's really filled up my schedule, and I haven't been able to get anything out. And I'm gonna have a lot more coming out in the very near future. And that's because starting in June, my new contract, I'm only working 2 days a week, Saturdays and Sundays, and that's gonna be really nice. I'm looking forward to that. Being off 5 days every week, so that's going to be a major aspect. Also, don't forget about the giveaway that's coming up very soon. The giveaway is going to be as soon as we hit 50,000 subscribers, then somebody's going to get a free NBC CBRN kit with a radiation detector, and hopefully, something that will come in handy. Hopefully, it's something they never have to use, but if they do, then I hope it helps. So make sure to keep an eye on the channel for that. But today I want to talk about robotics in general, starting about how this is affecting us on a nationwide, worldwide level. Now, one of the things that we tend to hear in society, especially from major manufacturers, from large corporations, is that for every robot put in production, for every piece of technology we add to production, then that also creates a job for someone programming and working on this technology and working in this field. This is absolutely 100% false. And the reason I say this is because would you or anyone purchase technology to place in their facility that they have to hire one person to do programming and one person to do maintenance on each piece of technology that's taken the place of 3 different employees on first, second, and third shift? And the answer is no on that. When in reality, when you talk about robotics, usually a technician that runs a robotic work cell is going to be responsible for multiple robots. And we're talking 8, 10, 20, and even 30 different robots in some cases. And if you're responsible for that many robots, each one of these robots represents a process in which a person was replaced. So that's on all 3 shifts. If you're working rotating 12-hour shifts, that's 4 shifts, 4 people that each robot will replace. Now, this is going to have detrimental effects long down the line, immediate effects, and we all know about the immediate impacts. The immediate impacts of this are going to be basically people losing their job. Now, at first, companies are not going to just have dramatic, drastic layoffs. I see it everywhere I've worked as a robotic contractor, programmer. So I've been to a lot of different facilities doing work for them, and I've seen it at each one of these facilities is that when they increase the amount of technology there, at first, people do get shifted around a little bit, and not everyone loses their jobs right then. It's a slow, gradual process. And as these jobs, as this technology becomes more and more integrated into these work cells, then slowly 1, 2, 3 people at a time begin to lose their jobs. So this isn't an overnight process. This is over the course of a year or 2. And this really does have a dramatic effect. It lays people off. People lose their jobs. They lose high-paying jobs and are forced to take these lower-paying jobs that are being created because jobs are popping up. There's a lot of jobs always in things like fast food, retail, and such as that. But just being realistic, that doesn't pay as much as someone who is programming, technically working on a robotic system or any type of technology. But a lot of these people are losing their jobs because of the efficiency of the technology. The more efficient technology becomes, then the less dependent that technology is on humans interacting with it. And as of right now, most technology requires initial programming. Once it's set up, once it's in place, once it's in operation, then it doesn't require much more human interaction. If there's errors, if there are problems, then humans do straighten that out. But it's becoming less and less people are necessary as technology gets better and better. Another effect that this is going to have in the future on our children, not so much on us, but on our children. When our children do get in the workplace, I remember as a young adult when I was, looking for work after I first got out of the military, there were a lot of options and people started in factories a lot. And you learned a lot of different processes, a lot of different things about the production aspect of different products. You learned how to work on different machinery, different pieces of equipment, and you learned a lot. But now what we're seeing is with the advances in technology is the younger generation is not having to learn these same things. They're learning how to operate technology that's already existing and is constantly improving. And this is going to be a huge impact 10 to 20 years from now when people my age are retired, and the younger generation that's taking over these manufacturing facilities, if there even any of them remain in the United States. The problem is they're not learning the basic skills. So this also, even though technology advances, is a double-edged sword. It dumbs people down. So technology is taking over. And what it's doing is it's giving the people this peace of mind that I can always speak into my phone, talk to my computer, type into my computer, and find out anything I need to know. So why bother memorizing it? Why bother remembering any of this? So this is literally dumbing people down. Now, people are as intelligent as they've ever been, but they're not as smart. And the reason is they're not gaining as much knowledge in the basic skills of not just manufacturing, all aspects of how things work. It's easy to push some buttons on a keyboard and troubleshoot a device through electronic means, but manually troubleshooting, manually repairing, manually producing things is fastly becoming a lost art here in the United States. So when we talk about robot apocalypse, we talk about an AI takeover. Well, AI has already taken over for those who haven't noticed yet. Your computer is using a form of AI every time you search the internet. Your smartphones right now are using a form of AI to predict what you're doing next. So AI is already deeply embedded in our everyday lives, and this may not be realized by most who don't, really keep up with the subject, but this is something that's already so deeply embedded in everyday society that it's going to be really difficult to remove that aspect of society without removing technology altogether, because it seems that AI and self-sufficient systems are the goal that these technological companies are working towards. And when that goal is reached, what type of impact will that have on the average people in society who rely on these jobs for their means, for their survival? It's not going to be good. So the robot apocalypse, it's not going to be like Terminator. It's not going to be a bunch of T-1000s, T-2000s, whatever they were, running around shooting people, although it could possibly lead to that one day with mechanized suits and robotic military devices. So it could possibly lead to that, but that's not what we have to worry about right now. What we have to worry about right now is the redistribution of wealth. The middle class for so long has been what supported this nation, but as more and more of these jobs disappear, then the middle class is becoming smaller and smaller. And as the middle class begins to disappear, then that leaves us with two classes. That leaves us with the wealthy, and that leaves us with the poor. So once again, this gives the powers that be control over us simply because they've used the intelligent devices, the robots, to take our jobs. They don't need to attack us. They don't need to put us down physically. They can do it financially. And by controlling us financially, they have more control over us than if they had control over us through fear. When it comes to the financial aspect, you're thinking about your entire family. Am I going to lose my home? Am I going to be out on the street? So these companies control us through that aspect, and it's working pretty well so far. A lot of people see this coming, and this is going to be a difficult thing, because this is not something we can fight. How do you fight the increase in technology? I've seen a lot of people that have been laid off, that have lost their jobs due to the expansion of technology. So it's really hurting, having a dramatic impact on people already, and has been for years. It's a slow process that we're already probably midways through. And this process, by the time it's done, is going to result in totally automated factories, totally automated manufacturing facilities, warehouses, distribution facilities, self-driving cars, drones that deliver packages. How much of this do we already have? Every bit of it. So this is not guesswork. I'm not sitting here throwing some really out the wall or out of the park theory at you. This is something we are in the middle of, we're in the process of. And what this is going to bring on is an economic collapse. And an economic collapse is probably one of the most difficult situations to try to survive through. And that's because we have to do one of two things: survive on our own or give control of our lives basically to the government. Economic collapse can also lead into things like martial law. If there becomes any type of instability, then martial law will probably be enacted immediately. What we can do is try to prepare the best we can for if an economic collapse does occur due to this. So view this type of situation that we're already in as an economic collapse, because that's what it's going to cost. That's what you're going to feel, that's what I'm going to feel, is the lack of money coming into my household. So that may make some reliant on government programs, and with less money coming into the household, that's less money being spent, that's less money for the government, that's more in debt the government will become, and that will cause an economic, financial meltdown, collapse, whatever you want to call it. So this is going to be a difficult situation, and if something doesn't change, then this is the direction that we're probably headed in. So let me know your thoughts, your comments on what you think about the increase in technology everywhere and what it's going to lead to. And keep an eye on the channel. Remember the giveaway, and got a lot of videos that I've been working on. I just haven't had the time with my work schedule to get them all out, but I'm gonna have these out pretty soon. So thanks a lot for watching. For now, Seer Survivor, out.